for APEC 2011, and we say again to you all, aloha.
The first APEC ministerial is in 1993.
Just over 21 years ago, representatives of 12 largest economies met in America
to say that the world is changing and that we have to change with it.
I think with this administration, you've made a very big effort.
The big change is really the drive force for the globalization shift.
There's some potential for connectivity.
This, I believe, will add a little extra stability, not only to Hong Kong, but also to our partners in the APEC family.
Thank you again, everybody. And just we'll have Don Tapscott come up.
But it's clear that no business, no country, no economy, no region can succeed in a world that's failing.
Foreign nationals take themselves to a higher state.
Qualifying suppliers.
This meeting reflects the Obama administration commitment to extending our diplomacy beyond traditional channels and engaging directly with non-state actors. You know, women have a right to go to school, women have a right to health care, but also women have a right to credit. Women have a right to, you know, fulfill their own economic potential.
The Japanese
sector, and then we have more in common.
We have not been nice to the
China is very short of energy.
by reducing three major diseases, and that's the metabolic disease or diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer.
You must remember that healthcare is cost, but it's also a benefit.
China must play a leading role in working with its partners in the Asia-Pacific to redefine the future.
很高兴和亚太共商界的朋友们相聚在美丽的夏威夷。
This audience is well aware of the stunning progress that China has made.
Please welcome the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
In all my years of living in Hawaii and visiting Hawaii, this is the first time that I've ever worn a suit. If we can at least contain the crisis, then one of the great opportunities we have is to see the Asia-Pacific region as an extraordinary engine for growth.
Did I do okay?
Yes, wonderful.
Just exactly what we need to do as individual nations, as regions, and as cities to put us on a path to renewed and sustainable prosperity.
In the late 1990s, the economies in the APEC region have been affected by the East Asian crisis.
And so today, not only with this, but with future artificial intelligence technology, phones can suggest what you would like to do, what you would entertain you, and to keep you safe.
There is no region in the world that we consider more vital than the Asia-Pacific region, and we want on a whole range of issues to be working with our partner countries.
So that's a 4-minute reminder of the incredible range of things that we've managed to do in the last 48 hours. I thought I'd just offer my own thoughts in summary, having spent a year working on this with many people and participating in many of the sessions, of what I thought were some of the consensus ideas that came out of these discussions, or at least for me were significant takeaways. First, I think there was an overwhelming consensus that around the world, the opportunity for significant growth is greatest in this APEC set of economies, and that the world is really going to turn a lot of its focus to trying to figure out how to capitalize on that. It was clear in President Obama's remarks in the U.S., he spent a decade dealing with its post-9/11 issues, obviously U.S. business has throughout this period of time. That's true, I think, for all of the people and businesses in the region. I think we also now can look at the conference and listen to the commentary and know that global interdependence is really inescapable, and it will impact the APEC region. That as much as we might want to sit here and talk about a conference about the Asia-Pacific economies, it was clear in the first day that everybody kept coming back, for example, to the issues we face in Europe. And the understanding that these interdependencies bind us together in important ways that are unavoidable as we try to pick our path forward. I thought it was notable in the back-to-back presentation and discussion with President Hu and President Obama that both of them acknowledged in different ways the importance of having a variety of free trade arrangements in the region. That there is probably not going to be a one-size-fits-all method by which we're going to promote this kind of trade and interaction. And both of them were calling for the furtherance of these mechanisms. I think another thing that we can see in many of the areas was the importance that people place on innovation, and perhaps as a subtext of that, an understanding now that these advanced technologies, whether they're in biology, nanotechnology, information technology, these are going to be at the heart of a complete remaking of our manufacturing societies as well. And I think that more and more the policymakers understand that without talent that is able to operate in this environment, where almost every class of job begins to have a knowledge component, without that capability, you're going to find yourself at an increasing disadvantage. I think on the other hand, while many countries are making big investments in order to boost their talent capabilities, to be friendly to the exchange of people and ideas, that the deeper question becomes, what is the regime under which each of these countries will be able to convert these technological breakthroughs into some kind of leadership capability that will drive their economy? And I think that is going to be one of the more difficult questions for both the policymakers and the business people. The enormity of the opportunities driven by these technological changes is such that you can't afford to, you won't win by sort of putting a chip on every square on the roulette wheel. You may get a small return, but you won't get a big return. And so how you make those choices, I think, is going to be critically important. It also came up, I think Secretary Clinton mentioned it quite a bit, other people did too, but gender equality, the ability to capitalize on the human resource that the female population represents, is just an incredible opportunity, and one that's certainly not fully realized really anywhere in the world, but also not in the APEC region broadly. I think it was also interesting the way that she positioned that. I think it's really important to think about it. It's not that this is a new issue. And as she said, she was an advocate for it, a decade or more ago. At that point, the argument was being made that it was just the right thing to do. But I think the notable idea now is that it's also the economically rational thing to do. That in many ways the GDP advances and just the performance advances in the economy that come from full employment of women is just a good thing to do. One of the things we set out to do in this meeting was to really recreate a lot more interaction between the business leaders and the government leaders. And I think that this meeting has delivered on that promise. As I said in my opening remarks, we had 13 of the 19 heads of state who were participating in this program in one form or another. And I really want to thank the leaders who participated for the quality of their interaction and to some extent their willingness to work with us to find a new model of engagement with the business community in this meeting. I think everybody recognizes that all of these things that we all search for in terms of growth in the economy and improved living standards, at their heart, these things are all driven by business, big and small. And I think it was a critically important thing in the current environment to really increase that dialogue, and I personally feel really good about that interaction that we've had and the quality of the interaction with the leaders. Finally, I think it's important to go back to the origins of APEC and recognize that APEC was started recognizing the need to address how we were going to get to a free flow of people, capital, and trade. And I think it's clear also at the end of this meeting that a huge amount of progress has been made since 1993, but obviously much more remains to be done. And so with that, I will move on to the next portion of this, which is the transition to those who will try to find a way to continue this dialogue next year. But before that, we're going to have the last leader interaction with President Medvedev of Russia, and I'll let him take the stage now. Thank you.
David Hilling. Thank you very much. They've done it again. Last time I came yesterday, I came out and stayed with Julia Gillard, and I joked that it was the only time that I'd come out with a Prime Minister and they would announce my name. Well, this time they've done it with the President, so it's my job to introduce the President of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev. Please welcome him. Now, Mr. President, you've just come directly now from a meeting with Barack Obama. Can you tell us a little bit about what you discussed?
Я расскажу, но не все. У нас хорошие отношения с президентом Обамой, что нашло свое воплощение в целом ряде, может быть, таких решений прорывных, которые состоялись в последние годы. А эта встреча тоже была хорошей. Мы обсудили очень многое.